This is the Hollywood Outsider, weekly entertainment podcast, where this week we're going to look at upcoming releases Alex Cross and Paranormal Activity 4. We're going to have a spoiler-free review of Taken 2. Our From the Outside In topic this week, what movies would make a better TV series? The latest in movie and TV news, as always, our own trivia and flashback DVD segments, including this week's contest winner. My name is Aaron Peterson, and with me today are my fellow host, Scott Clark.
Greetings, programs.
Brian Williams. What? Brian Williams.
Just as confused as you are, man.
And Justin McCumber.
What is up, my brother from another mother?
Not much. What a good evening programs. What does that even mean?
Is he in Tron? Is he in the Grid?
He gives us a reference.
Wow. That's so sad.
What, that I caught it or you didn't?
Yeah, both. Well, let's just jump right into movie news and we'll get going here. Christian Bale signed on for his fighter director's new untitled film. It's also starring Bradley Cooper, Jeremy Renner, because he's in everything, and Amy Adams. But the film centers on a couple of con artists who have to partner with a federal agent to bring down other cons, mobsters, and crooks.
Is it sad that I'm the least interested about Christian Bale in this? Like, the trio of Bradley Cooper, Renner, and Adams, you know, it's three really good-looking people. Like,
it's three
that
really...
sounds like my wife's dream film.
Yeah, like, it's just, I don't know. I don't know about Renner in a non-action role. That sounds kind of weird to me. It seems a little odd.
Why?
Because everything he's like a macho, muscle flexing action guy.
Only this year.
Well,
he was kind of known for drama before that.
Well, yeah, fair enough. But Adams is a con artist. I don't know if I have a hard time buying that too, unless she's like the Ringer or something. But
I'm sold on all of them.
Yeah.
You don't really have to say much more than that cast, and I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny that we pretty much use almost the whole cast as jokes as far as, oh, well, just put Bradley Cooper in it or Jeremy Renner. And now this one movie has got, somebody's listening.
Yay.
We got clout. They're like, did you hear the hose? Shit, get Christian Bale, get Iwart, get him in
Hit
here.
that shit to Kraken.
RZA, aren't you happy, Justin? RZA.
Yes.
It's set to...
RZA.
It's set to produce and direct Happy. It's based on Grant Morrison's latest comic. It's about a wounded I swear I can't make this up. It's about a wounded hitman who teams up with a cheerful blue horse to save the life of a troubled boy. What the? Of a troubled boy.
Oh, you could make it up, but Grant Morrison sure can.
Oh, God. What is this?
This is the kind of shit... I'm sorry, you go ahead.
Well, it's based on a comic book that Grant Morrison has created, and it's basically about a guy named Nick Sachs who is this corrupt ex-cop turned hitman, and after one of his hits goes bad and he's really injured, he suddenly has the ability to see Happy, which is a cheerful little blue horse who won't give in to adversity no matter what unpleasant obstacles come his way. What's really struck me as funny is that in this article I was reading in IGN about it, it described it as, it's comparing it to such works as It's a Wonderful Life, Sin City, and Care Bears. Now, granted, Sin City and Care Bears on the surface may not have a lot in common. Dig a little deeper, they still fucking don't. But somehow this story is going to pair them together, and I can actually see a really cool stylistic movie by the RZA combining the visual sensibility of Sin City with some trippy Care Bear kind of action through this little blue horse that's, I guess, spirit guide / psychic something / who the fuck knows. But it sounds cool, and, you know, the RZA's got that movie coming up, The Man with the Iron Fists, which looks insane. I'm really looking forward to this. It's already got my money waiting.
You have 10 times the better sales pitch than anything I read on this thing. Because now I feel like I've already done acid before I've even done acid.
This seems like the kind of shit that I would have got made fun of for reading when I was in high school.
It is. It is. Sin City and Care Bears? I don't even understand how they... But now I want to see it.
And what was the third like this? You said there was a third
It's
one?
a Wonderful Life.
Wow.
I see that Venn diagram.
And there you go.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'll hold judgment on this one. I want to see a little bit more. I mean, the comic book just came out last month, so they haven't written a script or even pitched it to anybody yet.
So I assume this is a talking, cheerful blue horse.
Who knows?
We'll find out.
It may just whinny cutely and then walk off toward whatever danger he needs to get into.
All right. Well, speaking of ridiculous concepts, Rob Cohen is still trying to get a Triple X 3D movie up and going. Now, if you don't remember, they killed off Vin Diesel's character in the second Triple X, where Ice Cube took over.
Spoiler?
Oh, sorry. I forgot nobody saw it. But they did. Well, he wants to bring Vin Diesel back. Vin Diesel's still considering it. Why? Why do they want to continue? This franchise is what, 15 years old now at this point?
Yeah, it's another example of kind of waiting too long to go back to the well. It's I mean I love the first movie. It was just a whole lot of fun and everything, and the thought of seeing some of these kind of X Games-ish action shots in 3D definitely appeals to me. But hey, man, that window's closed. Just give it up. I guess there was some bad blood between Vin Diesel and this director anyway. So just Vin's got enough freaking action stuff going on as it is. Just too
let
late.
it go. Let it go.
I thought you were a
Just let
big
it
fan of Triple X.
I was a big fan of for the first one, absolutely.
Yeah.
They killed him off in the second one. I'm
So it's
sorry,
gonna be
spoiler.
So it's going to be a prequel.
No, it's going to be a sequel. They're going to fix it somehow. I don't know. Maybe he just got a Band-Aid and he's all good now.
It can't be a prequel because he pulled him off. Basically, he pulled him off the streets or out of jail or whatever it was in the first one anyway, and that he got the job then.
Yeah,
so
gotcha.
There is no prequel.
Oh,
You-
but maybe they flashy thinged him. To forget all.
Oh, the Triple X
Men in Black
tie-in
crossover.
movie.
You asked why. I'll tell you why, Aaron. Triple X, I looked it up, made $277 million worldwide with Vin Diesel.
10, 15 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
The second one,
Which in today's money is like $1 billion.
the second one only made $25 million, and Vin Diesel wasn't the star, right? They had Ice Cube or whatever.
Yeah.
They want to go back and they want another $277 million, and so they're going to try again with Vin Diesel.
No, but see, that was 10 years ago. Nobody wants to see this movie except Vin Diesel and Rob Cohen.
Yeah.
Maybe Ice Cube because he's pissed that he wasn't invited back. That's it. And if it flops, then he can go around singing "Today Was a Good Day" for a couple hours.
Do you really see it being a flop?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, totally.
Yeah, I think that the window closed on Xander Cage and Triple X.
Yep. Anne Hathaway, a little cheerful news, I guess. Let's compete our Dark Knight Rises cast. Anne Hathaway is attached to star in The Low Self-Esteem of Lizzie Gillespie. It's a romantic comedy from Mindy Kaling and Brent Forrester about a woman whose self-esteem has dropped so low she is now dating bottom feeders. I so want to be in line.
The thing that really throws me off on this is Mindy Kaling. I don't know what it is about her. When she was just a bit player in The Office, I thought her character was kind of cute, and luckily, because she was so annoying, you didn't see her that much. It didn't wear on you. But she started doing more and more, and all of a sudden now she's got this new show, which I refuse to watch because I find her voice so grating and annoying. And I don't really care for her writing. It all seems a bit now ego stroking, and the fact that she's going to have a bit part in this movie adds more to that whole idea of ego stroking. I like, though, Anne Hathaway. I especially like it with the idea of her having really low self-esteem, because that opens up, doors for guys like me to step through. But
Exactly.
I would have to find out, though, what would make a woman like her have self-esteem so low that she would be dating bottom feeders. There's just not a lot of draw. Not a lot of draw.
Justin, we've all met women like that. I mean, and guys like that as well.
How many hot girls have you seen with total douchebags?
Yeah.
Look, my wife married me.
I guess, Christina Hendricks, women like that do date and end up marrying a lot of guys who are, at least physically in the looks department, far beneath their station. But I don't know, Mindy Kaling, she's so fucking annoying.
I agree with you. I actually don't like her. I don't think. I don't dislike her. I just think she's just average.
She's not funny either. Like
She's just okay.
Oh, nasal voice.
But I like the concept. I like that there seems to be lately a lot more attempts at making romantic comedies that don't just follow the standard formula of guy meets girl, they fight, break up, and they get back together at the end. I mean, it's just think that there's a lot more movies attempting to stop generalizing romantic comedies and making more realistic movies that date crowds could go to. And this concept is interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who she proved it to or in what fashion, but I say good for her. You know, she's another girl that's writing movies and producing movies and stuff like that. It's similar to Kristen Wiig and the Amy Poehler's out there. Maybe through those connections with them or something. Maybe that's kind of gotten her a foot in the door somewhere. But I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of reserving judgment for this one. I'm not just for her sense of humor and stuff. I'm not that big a fan also. So in that sense, I kind of agree with you. But I'll say kind of good for her. Hey, it's another woman getting her foot in the door, the man's world and all that shit.
This message
way to go.
This message brought to you from Affirmative Action by Brian Williams.
God, Brian Williams taking the high road, making the rest of us look like dicks.
Hey, it's not hard.
Charlie Brown, Snoopy, Lucy, and the rest of the Peanuts gang are in the works for a feature film animated franchise from the crew that brought you Ice Age. It's set for November 25th, 2015.
When I first read this, my initial thought was, "There's no way this is going to work." That's a long, well worn out property. But then I remembered that Peanuts Christmas special. It's like 50 years old, and they still play it every freaking. It airs every year. People still love that. My only concern is that they're going to go from the hand drawn animation to like whatever new 3D animation they do. Like, give you an example. I was flipping through the channels this morning. Actually, I was preparing for the show, and they have.
What?
I saw.
You prepare?
Sorry.
When did it start?
Who scratched that record? Because all I heard was a
flipping through the channels, and I saw like a Garfield cartoon.
Oh, is that what we call now prepping for the show? Flipping through channels?
Yep.
The hell, I was preparing all week long.
That's right.
So there was a Garfield cartoon on, and I remember Garfield as being the hand-drawn animation, and then now it's all like 3D with a big bubble-shaped heads and eyes, and it just looks off. What do you guys think? Do you think they're going to go the old-school hand-drawn animation, or are they going to modernize it up?
It said they're going CGI.
So yeah, it's just going
To me, watching a Charlie Brown cartoon is watching those bouncy, squiggly lines from the 70s.
Yeah.
And anything cleaner than that, I want no part of.
Really?
I'm not a fan of the Peanuts cartoons. I never was.
Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown was a major inspiration. I'm just saying.
Major inspiration for what?
I don't know, but probably somebody out there was really inspired by it.
God.
It was always a little too dour for me. A little too na 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 na.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Don't like it. No, I was never a fan.
I mean, it's like,
Give me He-Man. Give me G.I. Joe.
how many years has this cartoon been on, and the fucker keeps getting the ball taken away from him, and he still tries to kick it? I mean, he's an idiot. Snoopy's the smartest person in the cartoon.
Scott keeps showing up.
Yeah.
Touche. Apparently there's something to be said. We'll see. November 25th, if you're a fan of Peanuts, that's coming to a theater near you. Okay, this is almost weirder than that Happy Blue Horse shit. Ryan Reynolds is in talks for The Voices. It's about a factory worker whose relationship with a coworker leads to murder. Sounds cool so far, right?
Yep.
Except his path to salvation is guided by a talking cat and dog. I can't even make this shit up anymore.
Hey, at least it's something original. Something, similar to the, whatever it is, the big blue ox or something that's in psychedelic land or something over there.
The Paul Bunyan movie?
Right.
Babe.
Is this, what is it? Is it a drama with kind of comedy elements?
It's listed as psychological thriller.
Is it a dark comedy? I mean,
It's a psychological thriller. It's supposed to be like a thriller.
How can you take that seriously? A talking cat and dog is a psychological thriller.
Donnie Darko, people took that seriously. You could make it work.
It wasn't an actual bunny rabbit.
right.
It was a guy
Yeah,
dressed up.
And those 10 people that adore that movie are just fucking, ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I like that movie.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's an alright movie. It's just fucked up. The talking cat and dog thing, like Brian said, it sounds stupid. I mean, granted, you gotta wait till the movie's out. You gotta see it, see how it's gonna play out. Why is Ryan Reynolds even considering something like this?
How do these pitch sessions go? I mean, I want to know who's selling these things because
You're a guy who works in a factory, and you kill a dude. But to save yourself with the talking cat and the dog, millions.
But get this. Exactly. But get this. There's a talking cat who's giving him bad messages, And a talking dog who's giving him good messages. What do you think?
Which one's he going to follow? Where's the
I
rock?
don't know. Where's it going?
I can't tell if
Does
this
he
was
earn
taken
Renegade
seriously or
points,
not.
or does he earn Paragon points? How's it going to end?
Oh, this will be awesome. Now I really want to see it. Let's go to the home mill. Scotty?
All right, for this week's home mill, as per usual, we all like movies, and every once in a while something's just worth mentioning, even if it's isn't completely confirmed or just might be an informed rumor. This week, we're talking about Armie Hammer, which I can't say that guy's name without laughing. But he's in the upcoming Lone Ranger film, and he also played the twins on The Social Network. That's where I recognize him from. He's rumored top choice to play Batman in a Justice League movie. Now, Justin, you being the probably the biggest comic book aficionado of the group here, how do you feel about that casting, or possibility casting?
Well, when I first saw this article, I was not sold. But the more that I thought about it, the more that he's definitely going to be a younger Batman. Because the guy is a younger guy. I mean, he's in his early, mid-30s?
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're definitely going to be making this Justice League with these characters a bit younger, so they've got time to, sequelize this thing out and maybe spin their guys off into their own films. He has the facial look of a Batman. Every time I've seen him in a role, he's almost always playing someone of wealth or means. I think he's got the carriage for it. So, yeah. I mean, darken his hair, because Bruce Wayne is always a brunette. But, after he colored that hair, I think the guy could play a heck of a Batman and a Bruce Wayne. Not a bad choice. It wouldn't have been my first choice, but thinking about it, it's not bad at all.
Who would have been your first choice?
Oh,
George Clooney.
Yes, thank you. Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson. Wow. Brian, what do you think? Because contrary to what Scott said, I think you and Justin rival each other for comic book information.
Well, maybe rivals is a strong word, because I actually kind of agree with him in this sense. That Armie Hammer guy is he's got that tall, lean look about him that the classic Batman has. I think it's kind of gone to a more bulkier version over the last evolutions of him and stuff. But he's got kind of that Golden Age, or maybe Silver Age, Golden Age Batman maybe appeal to him. So I kind of applaud the choice.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. You know what I want? I just want them to actually start making the movie or writing it and getting it done so people can stop speculating. That's what I want. And cast Wonder Woman. I want that too.
I thought you were going to say you wanted Dennis Quaid to play Batman.
Oh, Dennis Quaid as Batman. Think how cool that would be. Think about it.
Batman the Golden Years?
Batman the Golden Years.
Just thought about it and no, sorry.
Well,
Batman the later years.
Batman, he's got a walker.
Welcome to Brian's Trailer Park. Good evening. Tonight's first film is called Hitchcock, and it's about the trials and tribulations plaguing the production of Alfred Hitchcock's most recognizable masterpiece, Psycho. Starring Sir Anthony Hopkins, Dame Helen Mirren, and Scarlett Johansson as Janet Leigh, Hitchcock reveals everything that went on behind the screen, including the extreme pressure put on his personal life and relationship with his wife. Aaron, since you absolutely made me add this, how does the portly, slow-talking Brit semi-biopic strike you?
What I will tell you is I watched the trailer. I was kind of hesitant at first because I'm really leery of Anthony Hopkins taking this on. Because anybody that's ever listened to the show, Hitchcock is my all-time favorite director, all time. It's not even a close match. He's far and away. So to see any kind of biography on him makes me nervous because I really know a lot about him. So it's really hard for me to watch it without thinking about they got that wrong, they got that wrong, they got that right, they got wrong.
It's a shame they didn't consult you on the project, but
Kinda.
Carry on.
I think it looks good. I think Anthony Hopkins looks like he's really trying to embody Hitch. I think he's doing a pretty good job of it. Maybe a little too much oversell on some points, but that's because I'm a little obsessive about it. I think he's doing really good. Now, I think if he can win me over, he can probably win most people over. Mm-hmm. It looks good. I'm interested.
I'm really interested to see the behind the scenes stuff because I know very little about Hitchcock. I've only seen like The Birds and Rear Window, some of the ones you've recommended. Psycho, obviously, how that came about, and I like seeing behind the scenes stuff about movies anyway, like how it gets there, because all the stuff that we don't see, like the presenting of the script and all the politics that go with that. That stuff's kind of interesting to me.
The one thing I didn't get from the trailer that I really would like to see more of, if you're going to do something about Alfred Hitchcock, you really have to pay attention to his obsessiveness, because he's one of the most obsessive compulsive directors ever. Mm-hmm. And he had real issues with his leading ladies. I mean, Tippi Hedren was almost afraid of him at one point, just because he was so obsessive. As I wouldn't say stalked them, but he really was all involved in everything in their life. And then if they didn't follow suit with him, he didn't want to help their career anymore, kind of thing. That kind of stuff is the stuff I want to know more about. I don't really want to know just the making of this one movie, but I get that's what they're going with in this story, so I'll let it slide. But I really want to find out more about that.
How do you feel about the way that he's portraying the voice of Alfred Hitchcock? Because to me, Hitchcock's voice is like very iconic. You know, the whole.
He's doing a good job.
Is he?
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can't not imitate it. I mean, granted, I think usually when you do a biography, the guy should play as close to themselves as they can, without making an imitation. This one, you almost have to imitate it because he's so iconic.
Right.
So,
because whenever I heard Alfred Hitchcock speak in the recordings or the videos, he always seemed to talk very slowly yet deliberately. Mm-hmm. And Anthony Hopkins felt like he was talking a little bit quicker than what I'm used to. Did you get?
No, I think he did fine.
You think so? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're the expert, so
yeah.
I just.
He did as well as anybody could do it. Mm-hmm. Really, I'm fine with it.
All right, well, Hitchcock opens January 10th, 2013. The 007 of Plainfield, New Jersey is back in the newest chapter of the Die Hard franchise. The appropriately titled A Good Day to Die Hard releases on February 14th, 2013, and we follow the only guy who has as much bad luck as Jack Bauer as his exploits take him to Mother Russia. When the teaser started, the first thing I kind of thought about was this has got a bit of a James Bond feel to it. Mm-hmm. Then you see that plaid shirt and you know it ain't James Bond. Bruce Willis is on Aaron's Mount Rushmore of man crushes, so we know his chubby boner reached a full 3 inches on that one. So Justin, I'll start with you. What do you think of this little teaser trailer?
It's certainly a teaser. I mean, I really just did not feel like I got nearly enough of what the story is, what's going on, why is he there. I mean, it was just, as teasers go, a bunch of quick shots. Some looked really cool, some looked a little mysterious. It looked funny. I wish I really knew what this movie was about. And I can't for the life of me remember seeing his son in the trailer or in this teaser. I'm sure he was, but I don't remember him being referenced or somebody talking about it. But, fuck, it's Die Hard. I'm going to be there.
Yeah, I think we all are.
And I love that title. I'm sorry. A Good Day to Die Hard is an awesome fucking title.
Agreed.
There's only one line in the entire trailer, so nobody's talking about anything except 007 in New Jersey, blah, 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 blah.
You know what's funny, too, is like I saw that trailer in the theater, and I don't know if it's done on purpose or not, they played that right after the Skyfall trailer.
Did they really?
Yeah, which I thought was hilarious.
I thought it looked great because, granted, I love John McClane. I'm going to be there no matter what. It's on Valentine's Day. It's almost like it's my date movie. But you watch the trailer, and what I like most is it seems a little bit more like the old John McClane than the last. Even though I really like the last movie, but he's doing a lot more winking at the camera, having his sly humor. I mean, when the girl takes her starts unzipping and coming out of her dress, and he just looks at the camera and just gives that smile, that Bruce Willis smile. It just seems like he's having more fun than he did in the last one.
Yeah.
Because the last one, I don't think he had a lot of. I mean, it was a good movie, but it didn't seem as fun. This one, I'm already sold.
Who's directing this one? Does anybody remember?
John Moore.
What else has he done? Do you know?
Flight of the Phoenix, which starred Dennis Quaid.
Wow.
That was a good flick. I like that one.
You are welcome.
Wow.
But he also did Max Payne, which starred an underwear model named Marky Mark.
Speaking of Marky Mark, next up is Broken City, about a New York private investigator who's played by Mark Wahlberg.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that. And he's hired by the mayor to find the guy who his wife is cheating on him with. Mm-hmm. So when the boyfriend ends up all dead and shit, a mess starts unraveling, and the former Calvin Klein underwear model finds himself in need of some new skivvies because the mayor has pulled out some old blackmail shit on him.
Nice job.
Broken City also flaunts a fairly big name cast with Russell Crowe, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Jeffrey Wright, and Barry Pepper. Now, while I'm not sure what to make of this, as far as is it a drama with some action in it, or just another Mark Wahlberg with guns blazing for an hour and 45 minutes? Scotty, what do you think about this?
Nothing real special to me. It just looks like another thriller. Mark Wahlberg looks like typical Mark Wahlberg, but Russell Crowe looks odd to me in this trailer. I don't know what it is. It's a goofy haircut or just the way he's delivering his lines. And maybe you're not supposed to feel real easy with him, or you're supposed to feel uneasy with his character. Maybe that's a good thing, but it's going to be a rental for me. It's something I'm going to rush out and see.
I disagree. If it's going to, granted, Mark Wahlberg, all I kept thinking was, isn't this the same movie he made the last 5 years? But Russell Crowe showed up. I can't imagine he's signing on unless there's something to it. So, yeah. And Catherine Zeta-Jones and Jeffrey Wright. These are all actors I like. So. I want to see what they're going to do. I
want to see more Mark Wahlberg like in The Departed. That character was so awesome, and he can pull that off. This looks like the same old brooding Mark Wahlberg to me.
We'll find out.
Yeah. You want to know what I think?
No, not really.
When that song kicked in, I'm like, fucking ticket sold.
I just started clapping. I just started clapping and laughing my ass off. I had to watch it again just so I could watch the trailer.
You want to sell any movie to Justin, just play Kanye West in the background.
Just play Power, yes, and I will be there. I'm like, oh, God, they got me. They know me.
Oh, when's that come out, B?
Oh, let's see. Broken City comes out January 18th, 2013. So it looks like we've got some pretty decent movies coming out in the month of January for a change.
Yeah.
All right, well, you guys can watch these trailers and those from recent episodes at thehollywoodoutsider.com. Have you a thought or a topic idea? Then let us know on Twitter at H_outsider. Like us on Facebook.com/thehollywoodoutsider or email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. And just a reminder, you can get your I'm a Ho t-shirts. They are available at thehollywoodoutsider.com.
Stump the Ho.
Now it's time for Stump the Ho. Each week, one of our hosts poses a trivia question to the remaining hosts in an attempt to stump their fellow hoes. Hoes meaning Hollywood outsiders. This week, it is Brian's turn. We can never get tired of hearing Brian's voice. So, Brian, take it away.
All right, once again. Good deal. So we talked a little bit about Alfred Hitchcock, so I got a pretty simple question here for you.
So Aaron has to answer last?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll make Aaron answer last. All right, what is one of Alfred Hitchcock's favorite guilty pleasure movies? Is it A, Cannonball Run, B, Smokey and the Bandit, C, Deliverance, or D, White Lightning? All Burt Reynolds movies.
I'm going to guess Smokey and the Bandit.
All right.
I desperately want it to be Smokey and the Bandit, but for some reason I've got this weird feeling I'm going to go with C, Deliverance.
All right.
What is it? Deliverance, White Lightning,
Cannonball Run,
Smokey
and the Bandit, Deliverance, or White Lightning?
This is something I honestly have no idea. I'm going to go with Deliverance because, it's Brian's question. He knows more about Deliverance than anything else. So.
Hey, man, don't knock my home movies.
All right, let's go to the big screen. Myself, Brian, and Scott, we all saw Taken to the streets.
The streets. Take it to the streets.
Okay, well, here's what... Justin didn't see it, so he's got to be quiet now. Brian,
wow.
Just kidding. Pipe in. Go ahead. The plot gets complicated, so I don't want you to get lost. Brian Mills is played by Liam Neeson again. He takes a security job in Istanbul. When his daughter Kim, Maggie Grace, and his estranged ex-wife Lenore, played by Famke Janssen, show up, Brian is ecstatic to have a nice little mini vacation and possibly reconnect with his ex, which means... Of course, he had no idea all those Albanian men he killed in the first movie had families of their own, and suddenly Brian and Lenore have been taken themselves by these family members in an attempt to exact revenge. Brian then has to find a way to escape himself, ensure his daughter is safe, save his ex-wife, and then kill every last one of those sons of bitches. So that's the story. Literally, that's the entire story of Taken 2. I thought, personally, a much more interesting take than the trailers led me to believe. I kind of thought it was going to be the exact same movie. It wasn't. Nothing revolutionary, but it also was not just his daughter getting swiped up again, which is what I thought the movie was going to be. Scotty, what did you think?
I was really worried walking into this that it was going to be, well, because the reviews were bad for one thing. It's hard to avoid that
Reviews
kind of
were
stuff.
horrible.
Reviews were really bad. And I was worried how they're going to make this story work. Because, I mean, how can you get taken again and that kind of thing? And I was surprised. They pulled it off. They actually made the story work. It's not like top-tier story or anything like that, but it worked. There was definitely some cheese, but not nearly as much as I expected. I think the whole deal with Famke Janssen's current husband, who you never see, and her crying about him and stuff was just a little over the top. They were kind of forcing the whole, they need to get back together. You know, we get it. There was also some other, there's one thing that just really bugged me. There's this whole premise that Kim, the daughter, can't pass her driver's license test, but she can drive like she's in a freaking Ronin movie. You know, halfway through, it just really
Some of the
bothers
story
me.
elements were a little far-fetched.
Yeah,
But it's taken.
well, yeah, but the first one was believable. I mean, sure, one guy going over and doing all this stuff, it was fun. And
Which part was believable? He found his wife or his daughter in like 72 hours.
yeah,
Yes.
he has a very specific set of skills.
Yeah, and medications at this age. Brian, what did you think of the story? Did you agree with Scotty?
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, I was actually pleasantly surprised with the way that they did the whole Taken thing. That they actually took both of them, took him and his wife. I wasn't really going to say that, but since you dropped that bomb a few minutes ago, I'll roll with it.
Drop with the bomb. It's in like the first 20 minutes of the movie. It's not like I'm giving away a big secret.
I mean, they actually took him too, and he actually kind of has to fight his way out of it. And really, in a couple of places, decide who he's going to help, his daughter or his wife.
Yeah, that was actually
which gave a little added drama there.
that was an excellent element of the movie that I thought added a lot of tension to it. Which, you know, we're not going to say which way it goes or anything, but he did have to figure that out, and that's a hard choice to make, man. Do you pick your? Well, I guess not if you're divorced. You'd probably automatically just pick the daughter, but.
How'd you feel about the ending story wise? Because they kind of left it like the.
I love the ending. I thought the ending was great.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to.
No, I'm not going to say specifics, but there were some definite loose ends that could warrant another movie. But like you said, he's said publicly that he's not going to do another one, right?
He said
It's funny you say that because the director, I believe it was the director. I just saw an article today that said that he's on board with it. Or I'm sorry, the guy that wrote it is on board with doing a third one. They had no discussions about it up until they saw the weekend totals and said, "Oh shit."
Well, the trick is getting Liam Neeson to do it. He's the one that's holding out. He doesn't really want to. They've said that they have to go in a different direction. So we'll see if he can make that happen. I think Liam Neeson is fine with it just being too. He doesn't like franchises. He's on the books and on record saying, I'm not a fan of franchises. I like to do a movie and move on to the next one. The only franchise he's ever really done is the Star Wars universe. So, what do you guys think of the acting? I thought Maggie Grace, even though she's 29 and still looked like she's 17, her acting's much better here than the whining and blubbering she did in the first movie.
I agree. She's very believable.
Yeah, but the fact that I know that she's like 30 years old now, now I see it. I see it now. And that was a little bit distracting.
You think she looks like she's 30?
Yes.
The fact that I know that she's 30 and she's playing the role of a 17-year-old or something like that, it stands out a little bit more in this movie.
I kind of thought they would have, because the last movie she was like 15 or 16 or something, and it seems like she only aged a year. They could have easily put that ahead, made her in their 20s or something. It wouldn't have made any difference except for that driver's license thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and that was, as Scott alluded to, kind of a really silly concept. That was one of the story arcs that was kind of just cheesy as hell. Because she does literally at one point drive a car like she's in a Bond movie. So, Famke Janssen, I thought she had really little to do. I don't even know why she bothered showing up.
Yeah.
She did a very nice job of not doing much, so good for her. The villain, led by, I can't say his name even if I tried, so I'm not even going to try. But the guy that plays Marco's Poppy.
Roddy Sherbegia.
Thank you for attempting it. They were just as one-dimensional as the last movie, but in this kind of movie, that works. So I like that they actually used family members, because I didn't know villains had family. I kind of thought they were all, adopted and
They're just grown in gardens.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. They're gnomes basically. It was nice seeing that aspect. I've never seen that part of a story, that story arc taken, except maybe Die Hard 3.
Did you like without really revealing anything, the confrontation between Liam Neeson and the bad guy at the end?
Yes,
I loved that.
I thought that was great. Yeah,
I did too.
It was a different take on how you would think it would play out, and it worked really well.
That was pretty cool.
And Liam Neeson is Liam Neeson. I think he's getting a little too old to be doing this kind of action flick.
He said so in the movie.
Yeah, he even says so in the movie. He's like, I'm too old for this shit. But he's still convincing, and he was born for this one. So
Yeah, he's still great in the role. He's unrelenting, deliberate, intelligent. It's just so much fun watching him kick ass because he does it with little to no expression on his face or emotion. Mm-hmm. I mean, 'cause that's what he was. I mean, he's Secret Service, that kind of thing. He's so much fun to watch in action scenes.
He is, and he plays it. He doesn't play it like everybody else plays an action hero. Mm-hmm. Where they're just a badass and they look like a badass. He plays it like he's doing this because he has to do it to live. Mm-hmm. And he's one of the very few guys that can do that. Maybe that's because he's older and he has more experience, or he really does want to live. I don't know, and he's afraid. One of these stunts might take me out.
Right. But when you see these action sequences with a lot of fist fights and that kind of thing, he looks like he's actually like contemplating each move. It doesn't look like choreographed. You know what I mean?
Yes, very much so.
And that and even with his expression in his face is like I'm concentrating on doing this right because I'm expecting what's going to happen. It's just so much fun to watch.
What about the production? What did you guys think about the directing? Because it's a different director. It's Olivier Magaton this time around. Did you guys like his direction versus the last film?
There was a couple of pieces that were almost Tony Scott-ish. Mm-hmm. The flashy flashbacks, I guess. The flashy transitions between little scenes and that kind of stuff. But really, other than that, I thought he did a pretty good job.
I feel pretty good except for some of the action sequences, and I think you might. I'm guessing you agree with me, but I found myself annoyed with a lot of these action sequences, even though I'm hearing a lot of praise about them. Very shaky camera. I want to see the action. I don't want to feel like you have to amp up the action by making the camera move around in an unnatural way. Let me see the action. I want to see all those punches and kicks and how this is choreographed. Aaron, do you feel the same way, or do you disagree?
I absolutely agree. I think every single scene of close-up action was way too quick cut. Mm-hmm. The last movie, the reason that it worked for me so well and it seemed very, very fluid is because the movie was shot by a director who appreciated the fact that you have to see the action. Mm-hmm. I don't want to just see his eyes and then a bunch of quick cuts and then, the guy's on the ground. I want to actually know what's going on, and I couldn't tell in several scenes. I mean, the tense scenes, the scenes that are going for just tension, I shot very well, very fine. It looks fine. It's very standard action movie direction. It's nothing fancy. But the actual close-up action is all quick cut. It's really hard to see. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you on that. That stuff really frustrated me. I don't like action direction like this. I think it's lazy. But it's not the whole movie. It's just small sections of it. Right. So I still like the movie. I just didn't like parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that part didn't annoy me as much as you guys. I mean, it wasn't like it was the Hunger Games,
That's true.
I got your point. So what's the verdict? Brian?
I'm giving it a strong 7. It's nothing mind-blowing. Kind of like, we talked briefly after I'd seen it. Nothing mind-blowing. It's not revealing anything you haven't seen before. You know what you're going. You get what you expect when you go in there, and for that, I mean, you got to give it at least a 7.
Scotty?
I'm surprised how much I enjoyed this movie. I went in with very little expectations. Mm-hmm. It's not really fair to compare a sequel to its prequel, but it's almost impossible not to. What made the first one so good to me was how much of a surprise it was. The trailer made it seem like it was just going to be another action flick that was going to be okay, and it had a cool line with a specific set of skills and all that. But the story worked surprisingly well in this one. And this may be another topic for another time about how expectations ruin our movie experience or make it a better experience. But Liam Neeson kicking ass is still enjoyable to me. I don't care how old he is. I love watching him on screen. I just want to be able to see it a little bit better than I did in this one. Some of the concepts are ridiculous, yes, but I don't think it's overly so to the point of it being unwatchable or degrading my score on it. I still think that a sequel was unnecessary, but I'm glad I saw the film, and because it was a good thrill ride for me. I gave it a solid 6 out of 10.
Okay. The answer is no. For all the people wondering if the film is as good as the first, no, it's not. It's like Scotty says, it's not as surprising. It doesn't have that same cool hook, with the specific set of skills and the phone call. And Liam he's played a lot of these action heroes in the last couple since the first Taken. That seems like all he's done. But there's enough twists and tense moments in here to keep the movie entertaining. The reviews, I don't understand. I don't know why people hated it so much. I don't think it's a bad movie. There's some things I think could be better. There's some action that I think could be a little bit more fluid. But overall, the story actually works. I don't think it's the exact same movie. I had a lot of fun with it, and I love the payoff. I give it 6.5 out of 10. So
real quick, if and when they make the third one,
they call it Took.
I want more of his friends in the movie.
Yeah.
You've got D.B. Sweeney, John Grease, who was the crazy. Was Uncle? What was his name from Napoleon Dynamite?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
The crazy uncle guy. Anyway, and gosh, that other guy, I can't even think of his name right now, but he's kind of a wormy guy, and he's a pretty good character, kind of supporting actor. But anyway, you've got 3 decent guys that could play a decent role. I would like to see more of them.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, I completely agree. Especially since he, both movies he calls him at one point and asks for help. Get over there, you sons of bitches. Stop playing golf and get your ass over there and help him. He's your buddy. These are worthless friends, man. Well, good. So we're telling you from the Hollywood Outsider, give Taken 2 a shot. It's not nearly as bad as all the critics are making it sound, and a lot of people are having a lot of fun with it.
Sounds like they don't need our recommendation. It did pretty well this weekend.
Yeah, it did pretty well at the box office. Nice transition. I also want to apologize for the people that actually go to the website and read the box office reviews, the write-ups that we do. I just couldn't get it done this week, so my apologies. But Taken 2 opened to $49 million, the biggest October action opening ever. The sequel doubled the original film's opening, which is kind of to be expected. But that one lasted a lot longer in the theaters, which almost never happens with a sequel. So don't expect that to happen here. Mm-hmm. Also, it made $55 million overseas, so it's already made over $100 million total. And by the time you're hearing this, the film will already have made more overseas in 1 week than the original did its entire run. So, good for Liam Neeson. He'll be doing Taken 3. They'll pay him $25 million, and suddenly, I like the concept. That's great. Hotel Transylvania stayed strong at number 2 with $27 million for a $76 million total. In its second weekend, Transylvania made over double what Frankenweenie did when it opened with $11 million. The last new opening was Pitch Perfect, which made $14.8 million. It's got a $21 million total. It's not a bad start, but not nearly as strong as some people thought it would be. And Looper's already up to about $40 million. Should have top out with about $65, $70 million total. So it's a solid hit.
Oh. Sorry, fell asleep there. Oh, God, I feel refreshed. So much better.
Welcome back, Justin.
All right. Yeah, thank you. All right, we've got 2 films that we're going to be discussing, both of them opening up on October 19th. The first one, Alex Cross. Alex Cross is a crime thriller directed by, I think we were just talking about him, Rob Cohen. Stars Tyler Perry, Matthew Fox, and Rachel Nichols. It's adapted from the 12th Alex Cross novel called simply Cross by James Patterson, and a screenplay written by Mark Moss and Carey Williamson. Dr. Alice Cross, played by Tyler Perry, is a police detective and psychologist who meets his match when a new serial killer called Michael the Butcher Sullivan, played by Matthew Fox, arrives. As an ex-operative, he predicts every step of the police service, easily killing his victims and fleeing. He challenges Cross by murdering his wife in front of him on their anniversary, with Cross becoming obsessed in capturing him. But capturing a man who predicts his every step, every choice, and every decision proves a challenge even for him. Brian, you're a bit of a Tyler Perry fan. You've sung his praises far and wide on this show. So is this going to be at the top of your must-see list?
I gotta say, it looks pretty good. Not so much for Tyler Perry. I'm not convinced he's a very good actor. To me, he was a major distraction in Star Trek. But that being said, the the property is a good property. I like the James Patterson, the Alex Cross characters, and what's his name, Matthew whatever.
Matthew on Lost Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Jesus
exactly.
Christ.
He just looks just incredible as the villain, and that, if for nothing else, that alone, he looks like one of those potentially one of those iconic villains. So I'm willing to go check it out.
Could be. Now, have you read the James Patterson books?
No.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
I feel pretty much the same that Brian does. I'm not 100% sold on Tyler Perry. Morgan Freeman just has this grace about him that really brought. Granted, I can't compare it to the book, but I am getting a little closer though. The more I see that trailer, it's starting to sell me a little bit, but I'm just not sure this is one that's going to grab me in the theater. But the Alex Cross stories are historically entertaining. I mean, even though the production on a couple of them wasn't the greatest, like you said, Matthew Fox looks really entertaining. But I just not enough to get me to pay the $10.
Is he going to wear a fat suit?
Is he going to dress up in a dress? Because if not, I'm going to feel gypped.
Yep. Me and Justin are on the same page. I'm not going. I will check it on a video because I want to see Matthew Fox. But Tyler Perry, you ain't Morgan Freeman, brother. You just ain't. Sorry.
You ain't narrating my life.
No.
All right, well, the second movie we're going to talk about is Paranormal Activity 4. This one is a supernatural horror film directed by Ariel Schulman and Henry Joost, who are also the directors of the third film. The film features Katie Featherstone, who starred in the first film with cameos in the other two. It is the fourth, of course, in the series, and it picks up a few years after the second one left off. In fact, about 5 years after Paranormal Activity 2, which ended. Should we even talk about how the second one ended? I mean, we're not spoiling anything, right? If you were going to see this, you would have already seen 2.
I would imagine.
Right?
Yeah, I would imagine. It's
All right,
safe.
well, all right, we're going to call it safe. So this film takes place 5 years after Paranormal Activity 2, which ended with Katie kidnapping Hunter, her nephew. Baby nephew. It follows the life of Alice, her boyfriend Alex, her mother, and her brother Wyatt as paranormal activity starts to occur in their home when Katie and Hunter, now called Robbie, move into the neighborhood. A laptop is one of the techniques in the film, as well as a Kinect, which is an Xbox proper piece of hardware, as seen from the trailers. After Katie goes to the hospital, Alice's mother takes Robbie/Hunter in, which leads to strange occurrences around the house. We're hopefully going to be doing a spoiler cast of the series up to this point, sometime around the October 21st timeframe. So if you've watched the movies, if you're interested in a spoiler cast, be looking for that. They also, Aaron also wanted to make sure that I mentioned that apparently Paranormal Activity 4 is going to be going up on the IMAX screen. They tried to do it on the second one, but it didn't make much money, but they are going to be doing it here on this fourth one again, digitally remastered with a reworked sound and image quality suitable for that IMAX presentation. So if you're around an IMAX screen that's going to be showing it, that is going to be an option for you. Scotty, I know you've enjoyed watching the past movies in theaters, so are you going to continue the trend with this one?
Absolutely. Opening weekend, I will be there. This is the kind of movie that I look for, number one, this time of year around Halloween. I love seeing scary movies in the theater with a bunch of people that are just as freaked out as I am, squirming in their seats. Mm-hmm. I live for that kind of stuff. It's not the same experience when you go see this movie, in a much emptier theater. I don't care. The formula's been done. The found footage thing has been kind of beat to death, but there is something about all three of those movies that just gets me a shiver up my spine that a lot of movies, other scary movies don't. I cannot wait. I don't know about IMAX. My first impression was, part of the appeal of these movies is that it's found footage and that and it looks a little bit grainy and not high production value. But Justin brought up the point about the sound quality and that kind of thing, which sound is a huge thing in these movies. We talked about this before, that there's no soundtrack as far as music. There's no score. Mm-hmm. So having those ambient sounds in there with that kind of speakers might get me to do that.
That's actually what I'm kind of excited about.
Yeah.
I really love IMAX sound, so if they're really going to amp it up, I'll give it a shot. I mean, it's not going to really cost me that much more, so why not see if I can get it? And I hate to say it because I hate when movies get up to number 4 or 5, 6. I mean, it's just stupid. But for some reason, they've built a narrative that even though it's so basic, the entire movie is just let's see what we can goose you with for an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. The story is really pointless. It's just what's going to scare the piss out of me now. And so far the first 3 movies they've managed to avoid the cat jumping out of the freezer.
Right.
Why that cat keeps getting in the freezer, I don't know.
I don't know how it gets in there. But they've managed to avoid a lot of the generic scares and created some really cool stuff. Was it the last one where there's that little cubby hole and the kid gets caught in there? And I mean, there's just some real clever stuff. And
the Bloody Mary part. Oh,
yeah. I mean, and they do a really good job of keeping the scares out of the trailers. The last trailer, I mean, everything they showed me in the trailer wasn't even in the movie. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'm excited, and we are going to do a spoiler cast, and that should be fun to talk about how all 4 of them tie together.
Right. And they do such a good job of keeping it fresh too. Like you already know the concept. There's always something new that they do, whether it be, I think in the second or third one where they had the camera on the pivoting fan. Mm-hmm. That concept was brilliant for that. I just thought it was really cool. They keep it from being like, come on. The way that they do the found footage, it actually seems plausible. And this time they're kind of doing it with the technology, with like Justin said, the Kinect and the webcam kind of stuff. I'm stoked.
Yeah, and what's interesting is as our culture has cameras more and more prevalent. I mean, every one of us practically walks around now with an HD camera in our pocket. Mm-hmm. It becomes that much more believable that these kinds of pieces of footage would be filmed. When it comes to especially the younger culture, how quickly can they whip that phone out, and how naturally is it for them to whip it out, hit that camera button, hit that record button? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I actually think because of that, the found footage style could maintain traction and keep going because, at least when we were watching Cloverfield or the original Blair Witch Project, the idea of someone running around with a camcorder held up to their eye didn't quite seem believable. At some point, you're dropping that fucker just so you can run a little faster. But holding a camera up as you're walking around a room or a house, that's entirely believable, and that's exactly what Paranormal Activity has done. They have, wow, a lot of this could have been saved for the spoiler cast. Suffice it to say, they really make the footage believable the way that it's recorded. So, and I actually think IMAX could be a huge asset because that immersion factor in IMAX for me is so much more than it is on a screen that's distant and smaller. So a movie like this where the immersion is all of it, that could really work to its advantage.
Yeah. What about you, Bri?
Really, I'm all for the movie. I love the franchise, but as far as the IMAX goes, the only thing that concerns me is that you have to pay attention to these movies to catch some of the little things. And on a screen the size of an IMAX theater, I mean, you're constantly going to be moving your head trying to keep up with what's on screen. So I'm fine with a regular movie screen personally, but I do understand the appeal of that immersion factor. So. Okay.
We're all going to look like we're watching a tennis match.
Right.
From one side of the screen to the other.
Did you see that? You're going to see fingers pointing upwards. Look at that.
So there you go. Paranormal Activity 4, Alex Cross. Both of these films opening up on October 19th. Guys, of these 2 films, which ones are we most likely to see? Aaron?
Paranormal Activity 4.
Scotty?
Paranormal Activity 4.
And Brian?
Medea who? Paranormal Activity 4.
All right, man, let's make it a clean sweep. Paranormal Activity 4. It is a tradition with us, me, my brother, and his wife to go see these movies. That tradition will stay strong.
Hoo-ah.
So there you go. Clean sweep.
Okay. Keep an eye out for that spoiler cast. And you can always hear us please subscribe on iTunes, Zune, Google. Listen on your Stitcher radio app. Give us a thumbs up if you do, or any RSS feed at thehollywoodoutsiders.com and Rockford College Radio, Thursdays from 4 to 6.
What's this movie?
What's this movie? Each week we play ours or a listener-suggested clip from a movie, and if you think you know what the clip is, email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com or send us a direct message on Twitter at @H_outsider. And we will announce those that got it correct on the air. As well as we will draw a name from those that guessed it correctly and send them an official I'm a Whole Hollywood Outsider t-shirt. Last week's answer was Brian's choice, and it was Once Upon a Time in Mexico. People that got it correct were Sean M., Paul S., Dan M., Michael H., Sue S., and Jesse M. And the winner this week is, drumroll, Paul S. Paul, congratulations. We'll get in touch with you and find out where you live. This week it's Scott's choice, so if you think you know what this movie clip is, email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com or tweet us. And of those that guess it correctly, we'll draw from the winners next week. Here's your clip.
You were my first.
Really? Oh, that's sweet. Let's see. You were my, I don't know, 3,000 something.
Word up. Should have worn a condom.
Okay, let's go straight into the couch. We'll start with real quick some TV home video tidbit. Walking Dead showrunners are touting that we should expect major character deaths this season. Don't worry, we're not spoiling anything. The question is, are TV serials getting carried away with offing fan favorites for ratings?
I wouldn't say. We talked about this previously, and I said that I felt like occasionally killing off characters that people care about ups the drama. Or shit, maybe we had this conversation on my real podcast. Anyway, the idea of killing off characters to me is something that I like to see people do on these shows, because there's nothing that takes away tension or drama more than knowing your characters are safe. And it doesn't matter how much you threaten most of your major characters in most shows. In the back of your mind, this character is going to be here next week and the week after that. So what is your investment as a viewer in that drama? Shows that will occasionally kill off fairly high-profile characters, they get my love because I don't know, and I don't have that thought in the back of my head that character is going to be around for that next season. Especially when you're talking about a show like The Walking Dead. I mean, what's the third word in that title? Dead. The whole thing is about a zombie apocalypse. A lot of people ain't going to be surviving that. So to have an ensemble show in which your ensemble just keeps on making it through it, that don't hold water, bro. So occasionally people are going to have to die. And last season, they killed off a few, and hopefully they will continue that trend. Or I guess I should say the first half of this season. Well, no, they killed God, how's it going? Hell, I don't even know what season we're in anymore, the way they break these things up. Suffice to say, I think they should kill off some characters. Who they do is up to the writers. How much diversity will continue to be present in this ensemble, who knows?
I like that I'm actually fine with it for certain shows. Like The Walking Dead, I'm okay with. It's starting to bleed into other shows, even procedurals. I mean, now that you get procedurals that are killing off main characters because they're trying to keep up with, and it gets to the point where you want shows that are serialized to have this option, especially if it pertains to the scenario, like Walking Dead does. What you said, it's the apocalypse. But if a show like Hawaii Five-0 threatens, the character, there's no need for it. Mm-hmm. There really isn't. There are some shows where I think you just want to have your fan favorites that you can rely on week in, week out, week in, week out. And then there's some shows where the excitement is watching and wondering, are they going to live to the end? I just want them to make sure that the show killing off a character in the show makes sense to the show. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That's really all.
Yeah. Like a show like The Walking Dead is not really about any one of those people particularly. It revolves more around Rick, but really you could take him out and you could still continue on with the story.
Right.
Unlike like you say, Hawaii Five-0, you take out Danny or whoever, and all of a sudden now you've got a totally different dynamic where, hey, this pack of people, all these different random people that are just forced together. Well, all right, we lost one. Let's keep moving forward, wherever forward is.
A good example for me is a few seasons ago, I don't know, 5 seasons ago, Bones. I don't know if you guys ever watched the show Bones, mm-hmm. but they had a character, and I can't remember the kid's name, but he was a young kid, and he played basically Bones' assistant at the museum. And they, for whatever reason, decided they're going to shock the audience and turn him into an assistant to a serial killer. Made no sense whatsoever. But the whole purpose was the same concept as killing off a character, was to shock the audience and goose the ratings. Awful decision. It was Bones is very much a procedural. It kind of ruined the entire tone of the show for probably like a season or two before it ever got back on track. Things like that where they just do it just for the ratings, it's just not the right thing to do. I guess that's all my point is.
I hear you.
Thank you. Brian, you watched the Homeland premiere?
I sure did. Thanks for asking.
How was that?
Very good. Picks up pretty much where it left off last year. It's the drama. The whole thing with this show is the drama, and the Carrie, the played by Claire Danes, is phenomenal in this. She is kind of drawn back into the whole mix of what's going on, but love it. It's just as good as last season. I'm all for it. So love it.
Okay.
Before we move on, though, back when you guys were talking about the premiere episodes, I hadn't had a chance to watch Last Resort, and I have to say that my anticipation was almost non-existent to see it. From the reading it, the premise sounded a bit absurd and stupid, but I watched it on Hulu, and I got to say that was a damn good premiere.
Mm-hmm.
And while I wouldn't put it up there with, your Crimson Tides, it was still pretty tense. And Andre Brower's Captain was really nicely done. And there's some definite, dynamics going on of some people believing that he's doing the right thing and some definitely not. I really enjoyed that first episode. I can't wait to watch the next one on Hulu. I don't have it on my DVR. I'm trying to switch as much as I can over to Hulu. But it was much better than I would have thought. And if you guys hadn't have given it such a good review, I don't know if I would have actually tried it. So I appreciate you, causing me to be more interested. And it was entertaining.
Does that mean you checked Vegas out too?
Fuck no.
So the moral of this story is basically
Brian's right.
Listen to yeah, exactly. I'm right.
Listen to my Uncle Brian.
Yeah,
He's right.
recommended it too.
Listen to me. When I tell you something's good, just record it, watch it. You're going to love it.
And get in the van.
It's continuing to keep my interest too, unlike Revolution, which is kind of waning. So.
Yeah, I'm done with Revolution. But I will tell you,
I actually haven't watched past the pilot on that one. For some reason, I'm just not drawn back to it.
it's just not compulsive for me. It's just not. But I will tell you, and I know you don't want to hear it because it's Dennis Quaid, but Vegas has turned into a show that I like, and it's becoming more serialized. It's getting better as it goes. So
I'm sure it's fine. It just the show about the early days of Vegas and Michael Chiklis. If he's playing Vic Mackey, I will be there. But otherwise, I'm just for some reason not interested in him.
I gotcha.
I don't know. I mean,
Carrie-Anne Moss is in it.
Well,
Yeah. See, you can relive your
And
Matrix
that
fans.
Jason O'Mara from that dinosaur show that got canceled on Fox.
I may have to give the pilot a try. We'll see.
All right. Well, let's go to DVD and Blu-ray. Scotty?
All right, we're looking at the releases for October 16th. And just as a quick heads up, there's about 4 movies here that we have reviewed in the past, and you can check out our reviews. We actually have a YouTube page. It's youtube.com/The Hollywood Outsider. Check out what we had to say about a few of these. The first one is Madagascar 3. The third film in this series follows Alex, Marty, Gloria, and Millman, who are still fighting to get home to their beloved Big Apple.
Still?
Still.
All right.
Their journey takes them through Europe, where they find the perfect cover, a traveling circus, which they reinvent Madagascar style. I know Justin's really excited to see that one. We did not review that one, but we did review Moonrise Kingdom, which is a story about a pair of young lovers that flee
I heard it's awesome.
that flee their New England town, which causes this local search party to fan out and find them. I actually reviewed this movie. It was on episode 53 or on the YouTube channel. I actually gave it a $2 out of $10. I think it's the lowest.
Well,
review
why would they
ever.
even bother listening now if you already told them what it was?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
That's My Boy. This is
That's my boy.
story.
That's how you're supposed to say it, man.
Nice callback. Nice job. I forgot about that.
Was that the Dracula voice?
I never know with Aaron what voice he's
Funny you say that. While in his teens, Donnie, played by Adam Sandler, fathered his son, Todd, who's played by Andy Samberg, and raised him as a single parent up until Todd's 18th birthday. Now, after not seeing each other for years, Todd's world comes crashing down when Donnie resurfaces just before Todd's wedding. 2016 Obama's America is a documentary that examines a question: if Barack Obama wins a second term, where will we be in 2016? If you want to hear what Aaron's score is on that one, go to youtube.com/The Hollywood Outsider, because I'm not allowed to tell you.
There you go.
Lastly, Chernobyl Diaries. This is the 6 tourists that hire an extreme tour guide who takes them to the abandoned city of Pripyat. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, I would never get that.
Yes, you did.
The former home to the workers of the Chernobyl nuclear reactor. During their exploration, they soon discover they're not alone. Brian reviewed that one, and check out the YouTube channel for that one. On TV, we've got Alcatraz's complete series, Mad Men Season 5,
Woohoo!
Touch Season 1.
That was a good season.
Touch Season 1, or better known as the show that killed the 24 movie, according to Aaron.
Fuckers.
And
Or
Aaron's
the show
favorite.
of Aaron going to see a kids movie.
And
That
season
would've been called Bad
6.
Touch.
And season 6 of Psych, which
It's probably one of the greatest shows on television. Probably.
Ooh, yeah. Hit me with that unknown shit. Flashback.
Next, we'll move on to our flashback DVD or Blu-ray segment, and this is where each week one of our hosts recommends a little-known or obscure film that we hope you'll give a chance. This week it's Justin's turn. So, Justin, what movie do you have for us?
Well, I routinely give these guys shit for choosing films that are much too recent to be really considered, in my opinion, a flashback sort of film. So when I picked out the film that I wanted to talk about, my first reaction was, oh shit, when was this made? Because if it was, say before 2006, I don't want to do it. Luckily, 2004. So it slides in under, my 10-year rule for how old a film must be before I'll talk about it. The film that I chose is directed by Mike Nichols. It stars Julia Roberts, Jude Law, Natalie Portman, and Clive Owen.
Oh.
It's a film called Closer, and it's a film that I never, ever hear talked about, and I seriously don't know why, because it is one of my favorite romantic dramas, and just so well done. Now, of course, everybody knows, or at least those of us who watch a lot of movies know Mike Nichols' name. I mean, he's directed, almost anything you could think of, whether it's The Graduate or The Day of the Dolphin, The Fortune. More recently, he's done stuff like Regarding Henry, Postcards from the Edge, Primary Colors. I mean, the guy is a no-name. The guy knows how to direct, and he directed his ass off in this film, because this film stars 4 people who are really some kind of shitty people, and they're not the kind of people that you want to root for, but the whole film involves the 4 of them in these intermingling relationships over a set of years, and how these people draw close to each other and then pull away, the love they share, and yet their lack of confidence, their lack of trust. And it's hard to talk about what the movie is without spoiling it, because a lot of what this film is about is the relationships and how those relationships change over time. And if I start saying who pairs up with who and when and why, then you kind of lose a bit of what the movie wants to show you and the story that it wants to weave for you. Suffice to say that these are 4 very fucked up people, all of them engaging in relationships that aren't the healthiest relationships, but it's fascinating to watch how these relationships progress. I normally cannot stand Julia Roberts. In fact, I can think of very few films in which I can really even find her tolerable. I don't know what it is about her. I just don't like her. But in this movie, I actually really enjoyed her performance. And Natalie Portman is quite good in it. But really, Jude Law and Clive Owen are the 2 that I think do a lot of the heavy lifting, emotionally wise anyway. And they do a magnificent job in it. What's interesting is that the movie is based on a play written by Patrick Marber. He also wrote the movie. So I like that. I like when the creator of something that's being adapted is brought along to help adapt it. To me, that gives me a lot of confidence that even if the story's not identical, the spirit is there, the flavor is there. They're 2 different mediums, but I like that he was brought on. And so you're going to watch a film that is adapted from a play. And in a lot of scenes, you can kind of see that because they're very much 2 people standing there talking. But it's a bit of a heart puller. It's interesting. It's dark. but it's really entertaining. I really thoroughly enjoy this film, and I don't normally enjoy this type of film. I can't recommend it enough.
All right, let's go back to that's closer. Brian, what was your Stump the Hoe answer? Or what was the question first, I guess?
All right, real quick. What is one of Alfred Hitchcock's favorite guilty pleasure movies? A, Cannonball Run. B, Smokey and the Bandit. C, Deliverance. D, White Lightning. The answer is B, Smokey and the Bandit.
What?
Scotty got it right.
That's
the other
2
two
weeks in a row.
dumbasses did not.
I'm sorry, but if you're going to have a guilty pleasure, it seemed to me for Alfred Hitchcock, it should be Deliverance. It seems right up his alley.
Does it?
Yeah, that was also kind of why I almost didn't want to choose it, because it seemed too up his alley. That's why I said I really wanted
Yeah.
Smokey.
I can see what you did there with like up his alley. That was good.
Squeal like a pig.
Such the wordsmith.
Okay, let's go to From the Outside In before this goes really off the rails. This topic this week, what movies would make a better TV series? There's been tons of adaptations of TV shows that have turned into movies. What movies would actually be better served as a TV show? Maybe it's because the movie, it's a movie with great characters that you wish could spend a few more hours with as opposed to just 2, or perhaps the story is so good you want to see it fleshed out. So we're kind of going to talk about what each one of our picks would be if we can pick a movie to be a TV series. Justin, why don't you go first, because we love to hear what you have to say.
Well, I know you do, and so do our listeners.
And he usually has the longest list.
Yeah.
I actually do have quite a list.
Oh, boy.
This first one, you're going to have to go with me.
Okay.
And I know I'm going to meet a lot of resistance on this, but it's a TV show about a kid who travels through time, screws something up, and then he has to bounce backwards and forwards in time in order to fix this intricately complicated screw up. It's called Back to the Future, and it would make an awesome fucking TV show.
Now, are you talking like each episode you have to fix some shit, or
No, I think each season would be him fixing some problem either he created or somebody else created, or hell, the entire, say, 5-season run could just be each season he's having to fix something and that breaks and causes something else and something else. But one episode could be in the 50s, the next episode could be in the 2010s. Flashing forward, kind of flashing back. I think there's really a lot of TV show that you could do with that kind of a premise.
I like it.
And you
Sounds
can
a lot
really
better
get
than Teen
complicated.
Wolf.
So that was my first option.
They did do a cartoon version of it that didn't work very well. Obviously, it wasn't taken seriously, but
No, but I like your idea, Justin. I like that.
I thought I'd hear a bunch of, no, what?
No, why would we do that? We're supportive.
no, I actually thought about that one, Justin. I didn't write it down because I thought I would get the same grief. So,
But yeah, I think it's tailor-made for season-long plot arcs, and there's all sorts of things that can go wrong between the car and everything else. I think it'd be fun.
Scott, what's one of yours?
Serenity, boom.
It kind of already was a
Oh,
show.
I know.
fuck, don't tease me, bro. I wish.
Come on,
What?
we
That
want
was a-
more. I know
So-
it was a TV
TV
series
show.
first.
So
Bring
so
back
basically, Scott's brilliant idea is to pick one that already was one.
Yeah, well, I knew you'd be a fan of it. Come on, we all want what they got jacked up from Fox. We talk about it all the time. I want more of those characters.
Fair enough.
I'm behind you 1,000%.
Yeah, he's behind you, all right.
Look,
Brian,
just because you guys are fanboys doesn't mean that was a stupid answer.
I kind of get you. I'm still kind of confused if it was an answer since it already was one. But hey, he's got us.
You know what I'm going with on that, though. Come on.
Brian?
Yeah, you're just going for the fanboy vote. That's all you're going for,
Yep,
Scotty.
easy vote.
I love you. 13th Warrior.
Wow.
Huh.
That's an obscure one.
They had such a good mix of characters for that group of 13 that went to. Basically, it's the story of Beowulf. Is basically what it is. Mm-hmm. I really like the characters in that. Everybody had a distinct personality or character traits, and I would like to see more of that. And it's only an hour and a half, maybe hour 40 movie, and I've always wanted more of that movie. And I just really think you could do something where you follow their exploits wherever else they travel.
Are we talking Hercules-ish, or are we talking more Spartacus, Rome?
Yeah, probably more of that. more of that because their quote unquote big monster in that anyway really was just a group of savages anyway, so it really wasn't a paranormal entity or anything like that, or any kind of fantastic creatures. But yeah, you just take them on, whatever they run against some I don't know, Mongols or something. I don't know, maybe other different tribes, or hey, they've got to rescue some princess or something. I don't know. I mean, like I say, there's a lot of different ways you could go. You could have spin-offs of each character, maybe follow one of them for one episode for a half a season. They all kind of meet up midway, and for some mutual larger story arc. So
Okay.
I don't know. That movie's it's one of those nobody really likes, but it's one of those personal favorites of mine, and I would just like to see a lot more of it.
Here's one of mine, and go with me on this, but basically every season, 5, 7 seasons, whatever it is, you're going to have a whole season arc that ties everything in. But each episode is going to be like a heist. Each episode is going to be a heist, and it's going to be called Inception in this series, where basically instead of like robbing a bank or putting together some kind of con job, like say a leverage or something like that does, they're utilizing the information in somebody's mind going into this dream world to, you can make it whatever it is, to find out who killed someone by altering their dreams, or to find out the secret to something in their dreams, something along those lines, and just making a whole season in and out. I just think it would be an interesting concept and be something a little bit more original than what's out there currently.
Yeah, I like that idea.
That's one of mine.
That's not bad. It'd be an even, I wouldn't say a cooler idea, but a different way they could go with it is, since it's Inception, the idea of implanting an idea, what if they were paid by or hired by some mysterious person to implant these things into people's minds that they're not quite sure what they are, but by the end of the season you realize what they've been doing is sowing the seeds for someone else's takeover of a government or what have you, and then maybe they have to undo that or struggle against it.
That's a really cool idea.
I like it. Why haven't they jumped on that yet?
I don't know.
Justin?
They didn't hire me. All right, my next choice is it's a little bit of a cheat. Galaxy Quest.
Oh, yeah.
Take that idea of an aging sci-fi show cast, putting them on the real ship, and then sending them off on an adventure. The whole first season would be the whole fish out of water kind of thing. And then the second season, maybe they come back or something follows them back and all sorts of things ensue. But it's a little bit of a cheat, but I think that would work.
I do too, actually. That's a really good idea.
I like that. That's very original.
Thank you.
All right, Scott, you got anything else?
Yeah, I think I'd like to see a series on like the Jack Ryan movies. I like that character, and I think
there you go.
you could do the whole, I'm an analyst, and he gets put in these action situations. I mean, I got the idea from watching Last Resort, and it always reminds me of submarine movies like Hunt for October. And I love that movie. I could see that going lots of different directions, and the whole, like I said, him not being an actual action guy stuck in an action sequence, but still being the intellectual guy at the same time. I'd like to see that in a weekly show.
Kind of like an espionage action show.
Yeah.
Kind of like a watered down 24.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had one idea. Predators, the TV show. In the vein of Walking Dead, group of people are dropped on a planet. They're all from different walks of life and different kind. They're all bad people. I think it's cool to have a concept where they're all villains and they basically become positive characters, and they're trying to survive, and they're also being pursued by predators. And the predators, I don't think, have to be prominent in every episode. It's one of those things where they pop up here and there, but it's mostly their fight for survival. I think that'd be a really interesting concept.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you see it, Justin? You said you kind of had some similar thoughts.
Well, see, I saw it more taking place on Earth, and if you really want to turn it on its head, make the predator your protagonist and have him be captured by some, jackbooted thug government agent types, Men in Black types who capture him, throw him in a room and start studying him. Somehow he gets out and now he's on the run. Making the Predator suddenly a hero is a bit of a stretch, so I could see people not wanting to go that way. But hell, you could do a whole season of the Predator stalking some paramilitary group in the jungles of South America, or hell, take it out to Iraq, Iran. You could easily do it. Afghanistan, where all those caves are and shit. You could definitely do that.
I like it. You got any more, Justin?
Well, the first one I thought of was the Bourne movies. You could easily do a franchise on that, kind of like what Scotty was talking about with Jack Ryan. Another one that came up to me was a strange one, but go with it, Prometheus. If you were to make a show about trying to find the origins of man, and instead of trying to cram it all into a 2 or 3 hour movie, putting it into a series, I think you'd be able to get a lot more story done, eventually leading into the films. The last one I had was, and it would never ever happen, but John Carter.
Oh.
I think a series set on Mars with John Carter and the princess and all of that would be a fuckload of fun.
Be really expensive.
Oh, too expensive to make, but just as a personal, I wish it could happen. I love the film. I would love to see it made into a TV show.
I had one other one as well too. This would be more for the kids, but Toy Story. I mean, that's one that's kind of for kids and adults. So doing it as a TV show, I think would have to be more of a kids thing. But you could, with the way the third one ended, with the new kid that's basically they're the toys for, you could have all sorts of different fun little half-hour adventures. I think would work.
Would you do that for Saturday morning, or would you do that for prime time?
I was thinking more for Saturday morning, or I don't think that kind of cartoon will work prime time. I think primetime cartoons are mostly like,
I don't know. The movies work almost as well for adults as they do for kids. I think you could put it up in a primetime slot and it'd work.
I agree, and that's why I asked. I really think that would actually go pretty well in a primetime spot.
The budget that you'd have for Toy Story as a TV show would be much less than you had for the movies. So it would probably be like a watered down version as far as animation goes. But I think that'd be enough to. I still think it'd be enough to get the draw.
Get some quality writing. That could be okay. I had a couple. One, I would like to see Harry Potter be a TV series, just because I like the movies, but they don't flesh out the books from what I understand. I didn't read the books, but I did read the first one. I can tell you the first one isn't fleshed out. So I would like to see each season be one book, and just maybe not necessarily 22 episodes, but like a 13-episode cable kind of series, maybe even HBO. I don't know, but run over the course of the series. I think that would be a fantastic show because you'd finally flesh out those characters, all the other minor characters that are left out, maybe get some depth from that series.
Could you imagine like an HBO version of that? That would, I mean, as dark as those movies already were.
Yeah, I think it would be. Well, I don't think HBO probably wouldn't do it, but
yeah.
You could.
I mean, they wouldn't turn it into Game of Thrones.
No.
Well, no.
That would be.
That would be awesome, though.
Harry fucking Potter.
Game of Wands. Fuckers dying. Hermione naked. Well, ew.
Well, not now.
Few years anyway.
And I had two more. One's True Grit. I love Rooster Cogburn. Him and Matt Damon's character, if they would, hook up and go around catching bounties, I'd watch that. More of a procedural kind of thing. And I Am Legend. I'm thinking,
yeah, that would be good.
He's the last man on Earth eventually, but he basically walks around trying to find out what happened and maybe if he can save humanity. And, of course, there'll be other people he runs into, but try to keep it as desolate as possible. I think that would be an interesting concept for a series.
It'd be hard to do a lot of episodes with just him.
Well,
you'd have to have a lot of flashbacks and shit.
Yeah.
You would have to have other people. He wouldn't be the last man to start with, but I mean, it would eventually get there. That's how the series would end, kind of thing. But I like those shows where you know how they're going to end, but you got to fill in all those gaps. That's fun to me. So
yeah, I mean, what do you do as the last man on Earth?
You look for a woman or a dog. In his case, apparently, I don't know. Whatever you're into, man. Let's go into email. Brian, you got the first one.
All right, this one comes from Sean M. He says, once upon a time in Mexico. If everyone doesn't get this one, excluding Scott Clark, they fail at life. Anyone wonder how many takes it took to shoot that scene with straight faces and so serious? That should be a stump the hoe question.
And then he doesn't tell us, so we don't even know.
Right. So, way to go, Sean. Thanks for leaving us hanging.
And I have seen Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And he also sent us an article on Twilight and how well the tickets are selling. I imagine that it's the last movie in the series. It's going to sell fantastic. So no surprise there.
That poster sucks, though.
Yeah, it does.
All of them running. Ugh.
Yeah, fine. Hurry up and run from the theater because I want this thing over with. Justin.
Yeah, we got an email from Dan M. He says, Danny Trejo in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. He has a pretty amazing backstory. I'm sure you guys already know, but if you don't, IMDb has a good summary. 2 Robert Rodriguez films back-to-back and another a few months back. Sin City, What Gives? Don't get me wrong, I love his movies, other than Spy Kids and Shark Boy and Lava Girl, which my kids love, and I can recognize most of the quotes. Keep up the great work. The podcast makes work almost bearable. Thanks. Well, thank you, Dan. We appreciate it.
We'll work on making it bearable.
Yeah, the quotes. His movies have a lot of fun quotes. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's
hey, went with a curveball there. You saw the same one pitch. Obviously they're not going to come from the same guy again. So let's go right back to the what worked. So
basically, Brian was being lazy. Scott's got the last one.
All right, this comes from Paul S. Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Seems we have a theme. Also, I have a gripe to pick. I can't believe Scott gave a higher rating to Pitch Perfect than Looper. I guess he does like musicals more than sci-fi. I read this one a couple times, and at first I was like, I don't know. We talk about this show about we're not the typical critics. We critique movies a little bit different than people that have been watching movies for the past 40 years, that kind of thing. When I give a rating to a movie, the biggest thing that I do is how much fun I had with the movie. I liked Looper a lot. I gave it a really good score, but I found myself looking at my watch a little bit towards the end, whereas Pitch Perfect, I wanted more. I had a lot more. I had so much more fun seeing it. That's why I got the higher score for me. So. And
by the way, I looked this up. Pitch Perfect, 81% female.
Yeah.
That audience is 81% female. It totally makes sense that you would love it. So
yes, Scott has a vagina.
So everybody that always says you need a female presence, we've got one.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, stop judging us. And the last email is from Jessie M. She also guessed Once Upon a Time in Mexico and added, honestly, that's the only thing I remember about the movie. Here's my reply. Salma Hayek. That's all I got to say.
Was she in that one?
Yes, she was in that one. She's not in it very long, but she's in it enough to where I remember her.
Oh, yeah.
She's my favorite, one of my favorite actresses / females of all time.
Was she Desperado?
Well, I know she was nude in Desperado.
I don't care if she's nude. She just has to be there. I love Salma
nude
Hayek.
part helps. Because, oh my God.
I have an imagination.
I didn't like Once Upon a Time in Mexico myself. I didn't think it was nearly as good as Desperado.
I don't know. At least this one had an ending. Desperado didn't have an ending. I always hated that ending. It's one of those movies where I love until the last 5 minutes. Because I just thought, well, does it end? I don't.
Hello?
I don't know. Make sure you stay through the credits for outtakes. You can always find us at thehollywoodoutsider.com, on Twitter at H_outsider, Facebook.com/thehollywoodoutsider. You can always email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. Please send us your emails. We'll read them on the air. Tell your friends, subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or any RSS feed, and also Rockford College Radio, Thursdays from 4 to 6. Thanks to each of the podcasters. You can always find their contact info on the website under hosts. Brian Williams, thanks for being here, buddy.
Peace.
And thanks for thumping that mic one more time. Scott Clark, thanks for being here.
It was a pleasure for me and my vagina to be here. Thank you.
You're so freaking sensitive. God.
You're only proving the case, Scott.
Yeah. And Justin McCumber.
It's my pleasure as always.
Next week we'll be reviewing Sinister and Argo, a new From the Outside In topic. And if you got one you want to suggest, please email us. And more on the next Hollywood Outsider. Remember, the next time you go to a theater, listen to Kanye and then buy some popcorn.
You can play Blanket Shark and
Tummy Sticks.
What is Blanket Shark?
It's a game we play with the dogs where we'll put a hand under there and...
Oh, wait a minute.
It's kind of like Adam Carolla always says that, the guy you don't want taking the kids on the camping trip, that is the first one who volunteers.
Exactly. I only got room for one kid, though. It's only a 12-passenger van.
The rest of my van's filled up with chlorophyll and rags.
So he sends me this clip, right? And he says, record it. Here's the clip I want to play. Play it from 8 seconds to 46 seconds. So I reply back to him, it's got to be under 30 seconds. Do you mind if I edit this? He replies back, how is that not under 30 seconds? And all I can say is, aren't you going to be a fucking teacher? 46 minus 8. Are you still saved?
Fuck you.
Have you given up on the Lord? Because he hasn't given up on you. They just now got them fangled books.
What is this interwebs?
What is this internet? What is
put in
it?
copper piping because I heard it was a series of tubes.
Justin likes it when other people sound quieter than him.
That's right.
Makes the show go better. Aaron, really, what the show needs is more me and less everybody else.
No, dude, you're a stick in the ass.
I'm glad that I can barely hear you because it almost sounded like.
Try this. I said you're a stick in the ass.
All right, I can hear
Now
that.
you sound great.
Yeah.
I found something to play with.
What's that?
My cock.
Tee it up.
Well, let's get her going. You guys
So
ready?
my apologies for pulling a McCumber and making us 30 minutes late.
That's... This is a Hollywood Outsider. Damn it.
You're supposed to clear your throat
Who we got
before
for
you
the
start.
Intros? Demi Moore?
Yeah.